Hi, I'm Mike Green, cybersecurity engineer with Optic Cyber Solutions. Today, I want to talk about getting started with CMMC from a capability perspective, sort of documenting where you are currently for your organization as far as the capabilities across domains, and then sort of where you're going with respect to the CMMC requirements, particularly for maturity level 3, which is required to protect controlled unclassified information. So we have our CMMC requirements, but where do we start? Where do we kind of pull everything together to really understand what the current program looks like from a cybersecurity perspective, and any deltas against CMMC requirements? And so what we've used and seen work well with organizations is to document current state capabilities within a profile, which really just documents sort of tracking what currently exists in the environment, things like policies, processes, any current capabilities, and you do that across all the domains. So that in that perspective, you kind of have a baseline of where you are, any of the gaps, and where you kind of want to go. It's also helpful to kind of use that profile as you go forward to build out the System Security Plan or SSP, and even the SPURS worksheet, both of which will be required for CMMC to provide as artifacts as part of that process. So here we have our profile template for CMMC. And here highlighted in yellow, you have the domain on the left-hand side, the maturity level for the domain or specific practice, the practice ID number, the actual practice statement, and then we also include a column or row here for reference to 800.171 where appropriate. So the second part of the CMMC profile template are around capability. So here you're documenting current policies that support certain domains. It could also include procedures, any process documentation, and the actual capabilities themselves. Technologies, tools, artifacts, things like that. For an example, to kind of see where you fall against the practices in your current state. You really want to you want to document what's currently being done, so you know where the gaps exist and sort of what your target will be going forward. So here we want to walk through an example scenario for incident response and maturity level 3. So you see the highlights here. We have a level 2 practice. It's IR 2092. And really this practice is around establishing that operational incident handling capability. So you'll see on the current policy, it looks like this organization seeking certification does have an incident and response policy. Looks like it's dated June 15, 2019. And then current capabilities here, we have the fact that they have automated incident management system to track and monitor incidents. They have incident managers assigned to incidents, and incident response are receiving annual training. So in this perspective, what you're doing as an organization is really documenting your current capabilities. And again, as an example here, it's pretty high level, but you can be as granular as need be for your organization, and notice any deltas, anything in particular that needs to be called out here to ensure that you're addressing the practice. The second practice here is around detect and respond. And you see here, there is no reference for 800.171. In this respect, it looks like they're using the same incident handling policy to cover this practice. It looks here that detect and response capabilities are end users using the service desk, and then automated endpoint detection and response tools to sort of provide that ingest of detection and response capabilities. So the third practice here is around analyzing and triaging events to support resolution and incident declaration. So again, here it looks like the same policy is being used by this organization. Security incidents are assigned a prioritization and a severity. But it looks like there's limited analysis performed around that, the actual assigning of that severity to a specific incident. The fourth practice here is around developing and implementing response to declared incidents or incident response plays. So again, it looks like the same policy is being used. And in this case, there are limited, it looks like response plays for common incidents. So this organization, it appears that they have some incident response plays, but not for their most common incidents. The next practice here is around performing root cause analysis on incidents to really get to the root causes of those particular incidents. And here it looks like root cause analysis is not performed as a standard practice for this organization. So it appears that maybe on certain circumstances, a root cause analysis may be performed, but it's not part of the standard process for this particular organization. The next practice here is around tracking, documenting, and reporting incidents to designated officials. So in this case, it looks like they have both the incident handling and response policy as well as a communications plan for the OSC dated 2020. And it looks like here that internal stakeholders are notified in accordance with the communications plan, but that external stakeholders are not defined. And finally, we have test organizational incident response capability. So it looks like in this case, the organization does not test the incident response capability on a routine basis. And that's really just a quick walkthrough of this scenario, just sort of at a high level. But this is really the process that we've seen work well for organizations to kind of document your current capabilities. Even if there are deficiencies, you just want to document those so you do have a tracking feature here within a profile. If you found this helpful, we do have additional resources as well as the one we went through today, the CMMC version 0.1 profile template. You see that here on our website. We do have other Optic resources as well. We do have the Spurs scoring worksheet that may be helpful, and we do have included some CMMC references as well. So hopefully you found this useful and helpful, and certainly feel free to reach out if you have any additional questions that we weren't able to cover here. Thanks.